Good morning, brides. So, in today's podcast, I want to just share my experiences on the chapter My Spiritual Leader, which is day 17, part 2 in course 2 at Hope at Last. So, when I first read this lesson, it just really made a lot of sense to me. It made a lot of sense to me in the way that I had taken over the leadership role in so many areas of my marriage. And I have mentioned this before, I am 2 years older than my earthly husband. So I thought that I knew much more about finances. I was a bookkeeper and many other areas, I was that wife that was very dominating in the decision making in a lot of areas. And for me, it was really not good because I messed up. The one area I can most certainly say that I really messed up on is our finances. And so for me, it made a lot of sense, but it was very hard for me to leave the church I was attending at the time. And that is because it was a new church that I was attending. I was getting a lift from another woman, and she was kindly giving me a lift to church. And I was part of the Sunday school. I was a Sunday school teacher, and they had already put me on the roster for a month or two ahead. And so it was really hard for me to leave. But there were a few things that really, as I started seeking God about it and what He wanted me to do, and also I needed Him to help me to leave the church I was attending because, as I said, it was really hard to do that because I had just started attending the church and I had made friendships with a lot of the people, and it sort of became my security net. But I did notice a couple of things. There were things that he was showing me as I was seeking him. Number one, I met with the pastor and his wife, and they were they said to me that if I had tried my best to restore my marriage and did what I could, if I had did that, then it would be okay. I could move on with my life. So that was number one warning sign that he showed me. I think that was probably the clincher that made me leave the church that I was attending. But another thing that I started seeing was that I wasn't being taught anything about being a wife or marriage or, anything about God's word in that sense. And so for me, I really felt that I did want to leave my church at that time because I wanted to embrace the principles that I was starting to learn, and I wanted to start learning more and journaling. And so he made a way for me, and it's just there were so many things that he allowed to happen, and so I was able to leave my church. And so I made the decision to leave and to make place for my earthly husband to become our spiritual leader. So that's just a little short sharing about that. And I'll share a bit more in my next podcast next week.